Welcome back to Fan Pros. We're here. It's me, Elo. Josh, and on the line, live and direct is Ed. We're gonna talk about just what's been going on with the Knicks as of recently. Their head coach search has been up to a fever pitch. Jason Kidd now looks like he's starting to lead the pack with some of these guys. I mean, you still have some of the other coaches, that are on the wayside. Johnny Bryant. Udoka, I don't think was ever really realistic because there's no way that the Rockets are letting him get away. Yeah. No, Udoka is just a great coach. Yeah. Man. Off rip. But let me start by saying this, and then I'm going to just let these guys cook. One of the consistent themes of major media versus New York media and New York podcasters and diehard fans of the Knicks has been this propensity to bash the Knicks for making a move, to say, oh, Thibs, look what he did. He got you to your first final in the Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. He has more wins as a coach than Pat Riley. He just passed Pat Riley, and he's fourth all time, and he's a culture changer, and Thibs did this and that. And listen, I want to say this because I've said it repeatedly on every video you heard me speak on Thibs, and this is going way back, even up to recent. I appreciate Thibs for everything he's done. Everything. Nevertheless, as I told you in that video, this was, I think, maybe the Game 5 video. It was the one when they started the Mitch lineup, and then the very last one where time was needed for a change. Thibs was a coach for 5 years. That's a very long time in the NBA by NBA standards. The years of having a coach there for a long amount of time, that's over. We talk about Pat Riley. Pat Riley with the Lakers, me watching him grow up, coached the Showtime Lakers after Westhead was outed, was gotten rid of by Magic Johnson. I never thought I would have seen the day Pat Riley was no longer the Laker coach. But his voice began to wear, and his tactics began to wear on those Lakers. And it got to a point the players and the management put the word out, and that was it. And they let Riley know, we are not going to be retaining you. And Riley had to take a media job. He had to take an announcer's job, which he had before he joined the Lakers for a season. Before, thank God, the Knicks came calling, and really was Patrick Ewing who told them in no uncertain terms, either you get a new coach and you get serious about winning, or I'm out of here. And then that's when the call was put to Riley, and the rest was history of what he did. But all of that to say, even Riley's time was up after, and he accomplished infinitely more than Thibs ever has accomplished. He won championships, man, had finals appearances, man. And I think a lot of these media guys are losing sight of that. It's not that Knicks fans or podcasters or media or people on the side of Thibs having to move on from the Knicks. It's not that we were ungrateful or didn't realize what he done, what he accomplished. He was a culture shifter. He absolutely was. He moved the needle. The problem is, for as much as he did, it could have been exponentially more. People say, oh, you made it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. Here's a reality check, and I'm just being real. We should have been there 2 years ago, at minimum, when we played the Miami Heat. People forget about that series. They upset the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks. No one picked them to win that series. No one, man. And they were able they talk about us beating the Celtics was a huge upset. That was a huge upset, man. And they did it, by the way, with no Tyler Hero, who got hurt. When we played that Heat team, they had no Tyler Hero, so their second leading scorer was out of there. They had Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler got hurt in I think it was game 1 or 2, where they wasn't even sure if he was going to play. we had momentum, we had the seeding, we had a home court advantage, and we still lost that series. And again, the reoccurring theme, game one. Thibs coach teams. We talk about what he did for us. Here's what he didn't do. Game one, our teams were never prepared, and we lost those games routinely at home in front of our crowd, the greatest crowd in sports, next to probably Yankee Stadium, man. All right, so we can start there. That's one. Two, he never took advantage of a blessing or a gift opening that we had as a pathway to the finals. The 3 last years that we played under Thibs in the playoffs, we had clear shots to the Eastern Conference Finals. And honestly to the finals, because the Knicks played well that same year that we lost to Miami. The Knicks played well against the Boston Celtics early in that season, and we had the opportunity to beat them. This was before they got the championship grit and won and became, and they won. This is before any of that stuff. The Knicks could have.
This was that season when they just got Brunson.
Yep, Knicks could have beat them.
And they still had quickly. Brunson wasn't playing for one game, but we beat them all 4 meetings that season of that year. I remember it.
The Knicks played them well, man.
The Knicks beat the Celtics.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And we were there.
That season. Okay. That was 2023. Right?
Yep. That was the first. That was the second year. Yeah. We're not even talking about the first year where they blew the Atlanta Hawks series, man. I mean, this is not something that we just that this happened because of the Pacers series. This is something that has been going from the first year that he was here all the way through. I'm just talking about playoffs. I'm not even talking about the second season where we didn't even make the playoffs, man. And it took. I'm gonna finish with this one. It took the Knicks being out of contention before he finally gave IQ and he gave Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly big minutes. And I'll never forget that final game of the season when he finally played the bench. It took us being out of contention before this guy did it. IQ had a triple-double and Obi had a monster game. Both of them. And all I could do looking at it, I was happy, but I was pissed too because I was like, this guy is a handcuffer of good, young, talented players, man. We had more than enough. And then fast forward to just last year, we were hurt, so I didn't even really kill Thibs with that. Although you can even look at where guys being hurt and dropping like flies because of their minutes they were playing. You could even go to that. But I said, I can go there, but I'm not. This season against the Pacers, there is no excuse. The Knicks were at full strength, healthy, and his coaching was on full display where you couldn't say, well, all right, they're hurt. So even they were more competitive when they were beat up last year. They made it to a 7th game and were just decimated and had no one left. In that game 7, by the way, which Precious Achua, another guy missing in action, unsolved mysteries, been missing. Got to put him on a milk carton. This guy refused to play him. So I'm not even getting started on Precious, man. But another series, this series this year was the straw that broke the camel's back. There were no injuries where you could say, all right, the Pacers won because of that. There was no. There was no any of that. There was no these guys aren't used to playing or used to Thibs' coaching. Thibs had roughly the same team except for a few players, man. And it came down to the fact that this guy was stubborn. He did not have his team properly prepared. He froze up and choked when the Knicks were Knicks were up 14 with 3 minutes left. And they went on their run and they just kept feeding Nesmith. He choked. The team choked, but the coach choked. A timeout should have been called. You should have broken their momentum. You should have told everybody and their mama on that team, if I see Nesmith open, I'm gonna eviscerate you. He should have made it clear to that team how important that game was, and they treated it like it was, especially him as a coach, treated it like it was nothing. Game 2 was even worse. Game 2 was the unforgivable game. The first one was horrible. Game 2, the mistakes he made were even more glaring. So I'm gonna listen to end and I'm gonna let y'all cook. But this just goes out to all of the media out there that want to say that, oh, you gotta look at what Thibs did for you, and I don't know how are we gonna survive without Thibs. And listen, man, I hear Giannis, I hear KD, I hear. First things first, we need to get the coach secure, and with Thibs on the way out, we appreciate you. We thank you. We do see what you did for us, but it's the things that you did not do, which are not only glaring, some of them are unforgivable. Think of how much further this Knick team and organization would have been championship wise had he not dropped the ball and not had his team prepared for the last 3 years. The last 3 years and 4 out of 5 years we were in the playoffs. The Knicks could have been on the path that the Celtics were. When the Celtics finally won, they had been to a finals and the ECF for what was it, a 5-year run. That could have been us. And think about this. Had he coached the way Brad Stevens or the way Aduka, some of these guys coach, these nuanced coaches, using the entire team instead of coaching it like an AAU coach. Only the 2 or 3 players get to play. Everybody else just sit on the bench, cheerlead. Had he coached like a real coach is supposed to do, you know what the key, and I'm just gonna say this. Do you know what's the key component of a great coach? The ability to adjust and make adjustments on the fly. Pat Riley, when he came to this team as a coach, he left Lakers Showtime. He was a brilliant offensive coach, not known as a great defensive coach. He came to the Knicks, saw the talent that he had, saw the players he had, and immediately changed his whole coaching strategy and then became one of the top defensive coaches in the game of basketball. That's why Pat Riley is an all-time great coach. All right? Thibs is a very good coach. Very good coach. Seasoned coach. Veteran NBA coach. Thibs is not a great coach or all-time great coach. And we have to start recognizing that, man. 4 out of those 5 years in the playoffs, his teams underachieved. They dropped game 1. The bench was not used. The players were tired and worn down, man. And he was out-coached. He was out-coached by Nate McMillan. He should never have been. The one thing that I looked at in that Hawk series, that the first season he was here, I said, hold on. Thibs versus Nate McMillan, we got this. Nate McMillan didn't even get his feet wet. Nate McMillan out-coached Thibs throughout that series, man. This isn't the first time he's been out-coached by somebody, man. Spoelstra out-coached him when Miami played us. And then, listen, you can say, and honestly, I'll say this, Carlisle out-coached him in the series before that. You know why? Carlisle went to his bench again. And that's why they were rested and able to have that type of upward running, frantic, fast break pace because these guys were being used. The bench was being used. And then this last series was it. It was on full display. So all of this Thibs, just listen, man. Every coach has his extended life warranty. 5 years is a long time, man. And answer yourself this, Knicks fans. Could you afford to go through another season where we get to the playoffs next year and then the bench is not played and then guys have injuries and then the bench is so cold when you try to bring them in a playoff game, they don't know where the hell to go. They don't know what to do. This is a problem to me. That's just it's a coaching philosophy. I blame a lot of it on just American coaching of basketball now, where it's too much AAU mentality. The entire team's not being used. They're not being developed. They're not working together on a string. I dislike the Pacers, but the one thing I appreciate about Carlisle watching that team play is they play in a unison. He was using players that barely got any time during the year for whatever reason. Walk-ons. He was using everyone on that team. Basketball is a team game. At its essence, Jordan didn't win until he had a team around him, and he was told by Phil Jackson, we're not going to win with you, just the Jordanaires. We're going to win with the entire team. That is when Mike's game went to the next level. That's when that team won. So In short, all of this Thibodeau, you should appreciate what he did. How could you let him go? And what's the plan now? It got to the point the Knicks just had, that was the plan. You'll get the coach after. There are enough coaches out there that are work where they can work with management and with players and work together on a whole versus one guy that won't even listen to his assistant coaches. They're just there for show. That won't listen to players. That not gonna listen to management. Management drafted Obi knowing how talented he was, and this guy refused to play him. Oh, Randall. Instead of staggering Randall's minutes and getting Obi a consistent 25, 28. I can't stress it enough. Why? Because he couldn't play defense. Most of these players in the NBA can't play defense, man. Everyone has a specialty. When you have the rare two-way player, that player is normally an all-star or a top-level player. So you have to utilize what you have. You didn't do it. We lost a horrible series that we should never have lost to the Pacers. And if I hear another, we lost to the better team, they were better. No, they weren't. If they were, they would have been picked to beat us before we even started the series. The Pacers were underdogs going in against us. Rightfully so. Better record, better seeding, better starting five. And our bench, had it been used, may not have been comparable, but it would have been a step underneath. Not completely obliterated when the final stats came up because they weren't played. And when they were played cold, like Precious having 2 minutes in the game. Anyway, I'm done. That's my rant on Thibs. The next coach, we can talk about the coaches coming up, fellas. You can give your opinions on it, on Thibs, man. Ed, I'm going to start with you, and then Josh, you go right in there. Go ahead, brother.
So, to answer your question, at least to answer the internet or the podcasts answer saying that Thibs is the greatest coach over Pat Riley, that's smoke and mirrors. And I say smoke and mirrors because this is what you just laid out right there. Too many glaring inconsistencies, especially not setting up an offense because he doesn't have offense. He doesn't know what offense is. He likes to read and react. React to somebody who just coming off the bench who normally doesn't start is going to be shell-shocked. So what you have here, and also he's not inspired. He don't inspire. I did research on Thibs ever since when he was in Chicago and Minnesota. He never inspired them. Well, the first season he did. Let me stop lying. The first season when he had Luol Deng and those guys.
Yep.
He inspired them.
Listen,
he did. But other than that, he haven't inspired since.
We never got that Thibs, man.
I know we never got that Thibs because that Thibs was younger and he was listening to he was doing all the fundamentals he was supposed to do.
Hey Ed, do you remember the Brooklyn Nets series when the Bulls beat the Nets in the first round in 5 games, and they beat the Nets, and this was the loaded Nets team. This was the team with with Darren Williams. I think they had Paul Pierce, Garnett, Joe Johnson. They designed that team to go against team to go against the Miami Heat team. And I remember in the offseason, I was like, wow, that team is loaded, man. I thought there was a sure shot to at least face the Heat because you had so many pros on that team. Problem is, Thibs in that series did an incredible job of getting the best out of his players. D Rose was hurt, so he didn't even play in that series. They had Nate Robinson at point guard.
I remember. And what was the other white boy name? The other guard, the white boy name he had? I forgot his name.
But I remember Nate was huge in there. Joakim Noah was huge. Dang was huge. He used everybody, including the bench. See, that's the Thibs. That's what made me fall in love with Thibs as a coach and say the minute he came here, oh my gosh, we're getting this guy. He can take clay and mold it into a work of art, man. But this guy would use like 3/4 of the clay, man. He'd be the rest of it laying on the table, man. I don't know, man, but go ahead. I digress. That was a great Thibs moment that I thought I would be getting consistently. He overachieved with the Bulls. The Bulls never lost to a team that they were supposed to beat in the playoffs. They usually lost to teams that were just better than them, like the Heat. You know what I'm saying? Or Cleveland. Never the better team.
Like I said, those smoke and mirrors, man. He lied to us.
He underachieved with us, man, all the time in the playoffs.
So, yeah, again, never do on-time in-game adjustments. That's a pet peeve of mine. If you're a coach, you got to have that. You got to inspire your guys, especially the rookies. And especially you got to learn how to develop them and put them in the game at least for 5 to 10 minutes, or even, let's say, probably 15, just to get their feet wet so they could know what to expect in a regular season game and or possibly postseason, so they could understand it.
Absolutely, man.
So with all of that said and done, I'm not crying for Thibs. He did it on himself. He did it on himself, because if I was the coach and I did all the mistakes, they would burn me out of town.
Yeah, and rightfully so. What could you say?
Nothing.
What are you gonna say? Oh, I could have, look at what I accomplished. All right, I see what you accomplished, and I appreciate that. Now, where could we have been had you been flexible? Where?
So
we could have been in the finals like Miami Heat were that year that they beat us. That could have easily been the Knicks that year. Easily, man. Even if we would have lost to the Nuggets, at least we would have had the experience, getting to the finals, the players, the bench. If we would have had the right coach, we would have been ready for anything this year, man.
That's why I feel we had a great chance, a straight line to the finals.
Third straight year.
He didn't.
No.
I don't know what it was. He didn't see it. None of his assistant coaches didn't tell him, especially Rick Brunson, excuse me, I'm saying. So I'm like, how could he not see there's not a clear path to the finals?
Yep,
and he's not utilizing it.
Bro,
what is wrong with this man? I'm really thinking he's senile. He's starting to get Alzheimer's / dementia. He already has it.
Yo, man, 3 years in a row.
He repeats the same thing in the post-conference,
the reads. It's all about the reads, and then the read and react.
The game will dictate to you how to
play. The game will dictate. That's a Thibs. That's a Thibs line.
Is that something to inspire anybody? No. The youngins don't have nothing to inspire you by. And then you're supposed to... Johnny Bryant was head coach in Wayne for how many years? 2 years with us?
Yeah.
Before he went to Cleveland?
Yeah. He wanted the job, the head coaching job.
My thing is, so why didn't Leon step up to Thibs and okay, we got to do something, especially that second season when he should have started quickly over Alec Burks.
They wanted to, they wanted him out then. Worldwide West wanted him out then. They used to have to fight with Thibs for moves, getting Cam Reddish. They went and made a trade. They lost picks to get Cam Reddish. And then Thibs refused to play him, man. Like, do you know how many acquisitions they made? And this guy thought he would do stuff vindictive, like, all right, I'm just not going to play him. And then piss them off. Like, I think Rose and Worldwide West is not a huge fan of Thibs like that, man. And I definitely think Leon was getting tired of this guy just... We get all of these players. Oh, but they have to be players that work with me. Why? You're an NBA coach. When Riley came to the Knicks, he didn't have Magic on the team. He didn't have no... Listen, we had Patrick, and Patrick at that point was better than Kareem. Kareem was in his 40s in a year. He was out the league, actually. So... But come on, there was no Magic. There was no Byron Scott. There was no James Worthy on the Knicks, man. And he took that team to the semifinals and pushed the Chicago Bulls to a 7-game series when nobody challenged the Bulls in that playoff run. That was their second year. They were defending world champs. We did that. Riley did that. And he didn't have to have players that matched his style of play. He just took the team, molded them into the image he saw that would work for them, and then he ran with it, man. I mean, and he worked with management. I never heard any stories where Riley was like, "Oh, I don't want this player," or to Ernie Grunfeld or Dave Checkers. What got Riley out of there eventually? Why he left is he just wanted more power. Eventually,
Right.
because he knew he was a brilliant GM mind, but he never ever questioned trades that they did. He brought him in, got him on his workout, his regimen, his plan, his conditioning, and then his teaching and training as a coach, and they were good to go, man. Second
No,
round, and then Eastern Conference Finals, and then finals. So all of this, I think that's what got on their nerves, bro. Like this guy, bro. You always telling us we got to get players to match your style. A Thibs player, no, bro. Be a coach. Coach these guys, man. Adapt, adjust. Use these players, man. Come on now,
like I
man.
said,
Nobody want to hear that. Yeah, big coach. You got to give me players that I want. No, a Hall of Fame coach, an all-time great coach can take any group and work with them and squeeze the best out of them. And they ain't, and then they don't like not play the guy because he doesn't fit their coaching style. Nah, man, you work and you're getting paid bucks to mold these guys and get them together, get them on one page. You're being paid to do that, man. And yo, man, it gotta be said, man. Cause you said that, bro, it triggered me. The more I started thinking, like this, Leon and Wes wanted this guy out for a long. I think Leon. I think it got to the point where we're close, but bro, no more, man. I can't explain it away. I can't hide it no more. All of the moves you've been doing for all these years with the same end results. We underachieve and lose to a team we should have beaten. We lose game one. Guys are broken down with injuries because they're being played extended minutes. The bench guys end up leaving and balling out on other teams. IQ, Quick, Grimes. Need I go on? McBride, I mean, now we may have a chance of keeping Precious, McBride. I mean, maybe these guys will
no,
say.
Precious is not going to want to stay. He's going
I,
to want to
I,
go.
I think, listen, maybe now the Knicks can say, look, Thibs isn't here anymore. The next coach we bring in, we want a philosophy where the bench is used. We want to, and he Precious may say, yo, I want it in writing. I want you to guarantee me how much minutes I'm going to get. I'm going to shop out there and look for a better deal, but I think now they have a shot at keeping Precious. And I said that a while. I think I said that a couple of videos ago where I didn't even know if Precious would want to come back with this guy if he stayed. This was before Tibbs got fired. But you know, bro, all of this Tibbs and need players that work in his system and it's the players' fault. All right, but when is he gonna listen? These same players, Cat wasn't on the team the first year against the Hawks. Cat wasn't on the team in that Miami series. How many times you gonna keep blaming players and you not gonna hold the consistent who's always here, the constant? Jalen Brunson wasn't even here game against the Hawks. When are you gonna see the consistent factor is Tibbs coaching these teams and making bad moves at the worst time? He never did this with Chicago, man. I mean, that early Chicago run, and even when Rose was hurt, he still took Nate Robinson and turned him into a phenomenal playoff player, man.
Can I
You
say
didn't
something
even do
funny?
that on us when he was on us. Go ahead, bro.
Can I say something funny?
Go ahead, bro.
What would have happened if we would have kept Alfred Payton on the bench?
Oh man, I mean,
what would have happened if we kept Alfred Payton on the bench? What would have happened?
to be honest, in Alfred Payton's defense, Payton to me was a better ball distributor than Ntilikina, who they were grooming to be the point guard.
Right.
The problem I had with Tibbs was he did what he always does. If a player doesn't do exactly what he wants, and it's what a lot of these AAU coaches do now. American basketball. They're selfish coaches that do not use the entire lineup, and they're easily defeated. Oh, you're gonna run the offense through that one guy? We'll just double him, and we'll force the other guys to beat us. And banking on the fact that you're probably a typical AAU coach, these guys don't get no run, so they'll be cold when they touch the ball. And we'll go on a fast break, back down, easy 2 points. I just told you the outcome of most AAU games in America right now going on. And Tibbs coached like that, man. He put Ntilikina in to guard Trae Young in the last seconds when the guy hadn't played the entire playoffs and was out the rotation for a long time. You don't do that. You still play Ntilikina, man. You don't bury him on a bench. You still play him. You keep him active. Yeah, I felt Peyton was a better ball distributor and set everybody else up. But listen, both of them couldn't really shoot. They both were streaky and couldn't shoot. But Peyton had great moments. He just would make low IQ plays at times, but that happens, man. That happens. The same way Thibs turned Nate Robinson into a playoff hero in that first round and in the playoffs that year. Come on, dude. You could have did that with us. You could have did that with Peyton. You know, this guy just Thibs, man. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro. Oh my gosh, this guy, man. It been building up. It be through these playoffs and through these last 5 years. And I've had a lot of great moments where I've given praise, but the stuff he's done that I know, if you love the game of basketball and you love how it's played at its best, guys are doing backdoor cuts. Guys are running pick and roll, pick and pop, man. The ball is touching 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, man, before the shot gets up. It's hard to catch the ball. That's defense 1-on-1, man. If you keep that ball moving, you're a harder team to defend. Running the break. Getting guys out on the wings on the break, man. And lob passes, man. If you love basketball, and I love my team to death, some of the offensive possessions in this playoff, dude, was hard to watch, man. Brunson pound the ball, go around a pick or two, drive, and then last minute try to do a cross body pass or a pass to
No, it's not that he go around the pick. He avoids the pick, so that's why
he would use it. Some of the times he would use the pick, bro. But they would easily switch off of it, and because he wasn't using the roller or the guy wasn't made to roll, the minute the pick is set, roll to the basket or be ready for it, he would just keep the ball, and he would just look solely to like the shooters, man. He ran pick and roll with Cat early in the year, and it was highly successful and unstoppable. Yep. They went away from that. Now it was just Brunson using the pick just to spray it to the shooters. OG on the side. Like, OG would struggle with shooting, but what do you expect? He's getting a three-pointer. He's getting a shot only at the three-point wing, and the guy's all over him. No plays run for OG. Or Bridges, man. Go ahead, bro.
Whose fault was that, though?
And that's Thibs. That's what I'm getting at again, bro. You got to call these plays out. This needs to be a part of your offense, man. A part of it. It cannot be just isolation Brunson all day, every day. Easily defended. Easily.
He not listened to his assistant coaches. So I don't get it. What? I don't get it. But anyway... okay.
Ooh, this is tough.
I had a couple of points to ask.
Go ahead, brother.
What makes?
And you get up
First of all, how did we get to the point that Leon Rose want 3 coaches that already have is working the contract for the specific
that are under
team?
Contract, right? That are under contract.
Right.
I think it was.
Chris Finch.
Yeah.
Chris Finch.
Yeah. Talk about Chris Finch because. Well.
Now Chris Finch is in the running.
Mm.
I don't know how much percentage he got traction going on, but he's in the running.
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
Chris Finch is not a starter for me personally. If you're gonna go that route, I'd rather have Mike Malone, and I know he has a lot of flags. A lot of people are like, "Oh, he's another Thibs." Not if you tell him. Not if he knows that the coaching market is bare thin and he has a reputation. Not if you tell him, "Look, man, this is the only conditions we want. We want the next coach to run the team X, Y, Z. Play the bench. We want the starters' minutes to be down a bit so they're fresher for the playoffs because we are a playoff and championship contending team now, not 2 years from now. Now, so we need those guys fresh, and we need offensive, innovative sets, not archaic offense. We need innovative sets. If you can coach the team this way and work with us, we want you on our staff. We want you coaching our team. You got to make it, and I think Worldwide West and Leon are going to make it explicitly clear to the next head coach, this is how we want the team run. This is why it didn't work with Thibs. This is what we want now. This is our vision of the team now. And he's going to have to, Malone, all of the stuff he did like Thibs, I think Malone is smart enough to say, yeah, I'm good. And he won a title. He says, I won already. So, yeah, I'm definitely, I'll ride with you guys.
You see what you just said right there? That's why I'm saying that. That's why I think that it could work, because he got Brunson and he got a big man in Cat and he got Anna.
Yes.
The only thing he's missing probably, which in time, let's say he was to get to be the coach. He's missing an Aaron Gordon type, a power forward. That's all we would need. But we have that in the
tour. We good,
Yeah, we got that.
We
have that in the tour. So in other words, what you just said.
Knicks starting five is better than that Nuggets starting five. If you look at it man for man, position for position, I think Jokic is better than Mitch. But then you look at all the other guys, forget it, man. But go ahead, though. I digress. Go ahead, bro.
So Rose and West will have to tell Mike Malone, if you could do everything like that, we'll hire you right now.
Yeah.
And I will sign off on it.
Yeah. And it's the easier hire, bro. You don't got to give picks up for it. You don't got to ask for permission. Mm-hmm. The guy is out there. To me, I think that's probably what in the end might be. Yeah, because listen, I love Jason Kidd. I think Kidd would be perfect, but
what we gonna have
what you gonna give up to get Kidd, man?
More cash from Donald's purse.
Yeah, man. You're gonna have to pay, and it may cost you 2 picks. So he's under contract.
So if they can't get him, I would just say might as well hire Johnny Bryant.
Yeah,
that's it. Those are only 2.
Gun to my head, I'd rather Malone. I've been consistent with Mike Malone. I'd rather him. I want a guy that's won already and recently. Not a guy that's won years ago. I want recently he's won. That's what I want. He's coached in those pressurized situations recently and was able to win a title. That's what I want, man. I don't want to, because I don't want another Thibs. I don't want a guy that's been perennial guy in the playoffs, and is overachieved in the past, and he wasn't even doing that with us now. He was underachieving. Every playoff run we had, we underachieved. We lost to a team we were better than record-wise, seeding-wise. We lost home court advantage right out the gate, except the Pacers series last year. That was the first time we didn't lose a game 1.
You know why? Because Leon Rose didn't fire him like he was supposed to, like Worldwide West wanted to. Leon Rose gave him too many breaks.
You know what I heard, bro? I heard that when they hired Thibs, they actually interviewed Kidd at the same time. So they did. Which is crazy if you think about it, bro. It's crazy if you think about it. Yeah.
The 3 front runners that time was Thibs, Kidd, and Atkinson. I like Atkinson because Atkinson develops talent.
Yes, he does.
That's the only reason at that time I was like, I hope it's Atkinson, because what he did with the Nets, he probably would do with all the young players. That's all I wanted to see.
Yeah. You gotta, listen, even if we look at JB Bickerstaff with the Pistons head coach.
He know how to develop.
He played his bench against us. That first round, I'll put it to you like this, bro. This is how much I feel a lot of it was the coaching. If Rick Carlisle was the coach of the Knicks, we're in the finals and we win these series that we played, we don't drop the games we dropped. The games at home to the Pistons, we don't get destroyed. That Celtic game, that nightmare game in Game 3. I don't even think we lose the road game. I think the Knicks play way better. We at least win an extra game than what we won in those first 2 series, and we definitely beat the Pacers if he's coaching us. This is how if Spoelstra coached the Knicks, I think the Knicks win that series and go and bro, that's how much I believe that the coaching so greatly impact the Knicks. And even if you have people say, oh, Brunson plays horrible defense. Does he play worse defense than Trae Young? Nate McMillan took that team to the Eastern Conference Finals. and two huge upsets. They beat us, and then they beat the Sixers with Ben Simmons and Embiid when that team was picked to win it. They were picked. They were the team picked to come out. So again, this is what I'm saying, man. Even if you don't play defense, man, great coaching can take care of that and cover that up. That Hawks team had other defensive players in there, man, that were able to pick up the slack, man. Because why? Because the guy that may not play the best defense is so great on the other side of the ball that it's paramount. They hide Trey Young on defensive schemes, man. Tibbs don't never do that. This guy was watching them pick on Brunson. You know why it was easier to pick on Brunson? Because they knew all the Knicks are going to do is switch. They knew that. Knew that. So it made it easy. They seen it for 5 years. They seen it for this guy do the same thing for, 5 years? 4 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it wasn't even so much it was genius Carlisle. It's this guy doing the same thing. And with Brunson the last 3 years, we know where he'll be at. Like the Hawks hide Trey Young, man. Hide him. That run they had in the playoffs, McMillan hit him. I can't say it enough, man. Because I heard Cat get destroyed. I heard Brunson get killed. I heard people kill Josh Hart. Hart should not have been in the starting lineup, man. If you remember correctly, he was going to take Hart out of the starting lineup when the season began. And Josh Hart actually went to media and said, maybe I should be on the bench. I don't think I should.
Yeah.
He didn't. Hart knew he shouldn't have been starting. Hart knew that, man. But this guy's so stubborn. No. I don't. This is what I want. This guy was so stubborn. He rode this all the way up to this Pacers series, man. And I get it. Mitch was not healthy. But guess what? Once Mitch got healthy and you knew that was going to be the lineup because that's what it was supposed to be. Towns was not supposed to be man in the center. He was supposed to be power forward with another solid rebounding big. We had Precious doing that. And then he tossed him like hot garbage the minute Mitch got healthy, man. The minute Mitch was healthy, you should have had that lineup going out. Period. That lineup should have been on. That's it. Then when the playoffs started, there was absolutely no excuses for not having that lineup going. None. And this guy did that, man. I mean, listen, man. We need a coach in here I want a fresh coach. I want a coach that is innovative offensively, that plays the bench and builds confidence in the bench players. I want someone that can build confidence in Tyler Kolek. Give him big minutes. Get him used to running the NBA team regularly. I don't care he doesn't play defense. How about that? We have other guys. Bring in guys that can be the hard hat defensive players. Deuce plays defense. How about this? How about you teach him how to play defense, man? Instead of just, he doesn't play defense, sit on the bench. No, you teach him. Work with him. A coach is a mentor. A coach is a teacher. Teach him, man. Come on, man.
Didn't he work that summer one-on-one with Julius Randle?
Thibs?
Thibs.
Yeah, but again, he just goes to the stars, man.
So why didn't he do that for?
I'll tell you what I heard.
I just asked my own question.
Yeah, but
we gotta let Josh go.
Yeah, one more thing before I forget. And it goes back to what you just said. Why didn't he? In the interview 520 with Jeff Teague and his brother, excellent podcast. If you guys are out there, look it up, watch it. They're talking about Thibs and their time being coached by Thibs. And a lot of what they said was incredibly revealing. Teague said that Thibs, he said that Thibs doesn't talk to players, man. If you're the number one player, he'll talk to you. But the bench guys, he said he rarely talks to you, doesn't say anything to you, man. You're non-existent with him, and his style is old, archaic. They said that, man. Doesn't budge, all of that stuff, man. All of that stuff. These are players that have played, so don't take my word for it. You can listen to Teague and listen to some of these other guys. Don't take my word for it. Ask Obi Toppin off the record what he felt about being coached by Thibs. Ask him. Ask what Grimes felt. Grimes couldn't wait to get out of here, man. And the minute he was given an opportunity, he balled out, man. The same way Brunson, when he was given an opportunity, balled out. You see where I'm getting at? Coaches need to give players opportunities, including bench guys. Give these guys run, teach them the things they need to know, work with them, mold and cultivate them. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all just said. I mean, I think throughout the 5 years Thibs been with the Knicks, yes, he's done a lot for the team and was a culture shifter. And he changed a lot for the organization inside of those 5 years, but I think it's really just been more so just the team just outgrown him. The team just outgrown him at this point.
So they needed a new voice.
Yeah, they needed a new voice, and I think like the lineup we have now is just it's a championship built lineup, and I don't think Thibs is just a championship coach. I don't think he has that like championship mindset and championship just skill set as a coach to adapt to other teams. And
well said, Josh. Well said. That's correct. Well said. I like that. You said it right there because he doesn't. I always feel that way. That's why I'm always mad when I see y'all. I'm always mad.
Yeah, I mean,
every Friday I'm always mad. I'm never happy. I'm always mad. I'm the mad rapper.
And like y'all said, it's been an open Eastern Conference straight shoot to the finals for like the last 3 years, and he wasn't able to get it done against these lower seeded teams. And I'm trying to think back to like a series where it was like his best series, or like where he coached his best series
for the Knicks.
Yeah, for the Knicks. And it's like
all right, let me see. The Celtic one, this recent one was probably one of their best series under Thibs, but I think it was magnificent, them winning the first 2 games. Again, the 2 losses they had in the
Philly
series.
The Philly series.
The Philly series was great because that team was undermanned. We didn't have Julius in that game. We overcame Embiid being a dirtbag and trying to end Mitch's career, yanking his ankle out, surgically repaired ankle. So I think the Cleveland series, when we beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that was a team, a lot of people didn't necessarily pick us to beat Cleveland, so that would be the one series I would say he may have overachieved, but we were evenly matched, and honestly, a lot of Knicks fans were confident. I was confident against Cleveland. I felt we could, a lot of writers picked us to win, so that wasn't the same thing that he did when that Bull team beat those Brooklyn Net team a couple of years ago when they were loaded with Darren Williams, KG, Pierce, Joe Johnson. That team was a ready-made championship level team, and he beat it with his best player out the lineup, Derrick Rose, man, with a backup point guard and Nate Robinson, who never played like that in a playoff. So that it wasn't to the level of that where we overachieved with the Cleveland Cavalier win, that series win. But I think probably you got to do the Boston. Tibbs' best moments, the Boston win was great. But again, Thibs was showing a lot of slippage in that series. The 2 losses the Knicks had, they were annihilated. And both were because the team weren't prepared for the game. They were not properly, it wasn't drilled into them the importance of the game. It was lazy defensive schemes, man, where Boston was able to just get to shoot. It was the Boston Celtics using their bench again. Hauser, all these guys off the bench, Pritchard, killing the Knicks, while the Knicks still kept a short rotation, man. But they were tired. The Boston game where they were supposed to close out, They didn't grow. A coach has to inspire. You said it earlier, Ed. I think you said it, right? Ed said, you said it. You got to be like Gene Hackman, rest in peace, from Hoosiers. You got to be, or Nick Nolte in Blue Chips. You got to be on them, or Denzel and Coach Carter. I'm naming all the Hollywood coaches. You got to be like that, man, sometimes. You got to inspire guys, man. No, there is no, we end it tonight. That's it. Done. You got to have players that have that moxie. There's no way you're beating Michael Jordan when he has his foot on your neck. It's over. There's no way back then you're beating Isaiah Thomas. When those Pistons have their foot on you, Isaiah's killing you, that's it. Bird killing you, that's it. Magic killing you, that's it, man. You're not beating championship coach level teams when they have advantages on you. And the Knicks dropped too many embarrassing, like that Celtics series, although that was one of his best, it also showed the worst of Thibs with not having guys ready prepared for a game. Where they got annihilated. And they got annihilated in Boston without Tatum. That was even worse, dude. Oh, gosh. But, yeah, I don't want to kill Thibs too much. What you got? Yeah. Cleveland for me, bro. What do you think?
No
Cleveland, Boston for me, and then I would say Boston, then Philly, and then Cleveland for his best playoff moments of his career. But starting with the Celtic win, and then the Philly win because they had no Randall and they were shorthanded in that series and beat that team with Embiid and with Maxey. So I would say that. What about you guys? Because I like what you guys kind of started with there. What do you want to go, Josh, and then Ed go? What do you think was his best moments playoff wise, or overachieved? Because that's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think I would say probably, like you said, the Cleveland and Boston are like, I say those are his top two series where he overachieved.
Right.
And I don't even feel like, even with the Cleveland one, like you said, it was evenly matched.
Yeah.
Yeah, even then it was still evenly matched amongst them, and and Cleveland still, they weren't as developed as they are now. Like they weren't as together as they are now. So, and you can say the same thing for the Knicks. Like they weren't as together as they are now. But the Boston one for sure is. I'll say those first two games.
Oh, that was phenomenal.
Yeah, those first two games has to be his best moment.
Yep.
But like you said, besides that, it's like after that, then it's like.
And you know what I just thought of? The Philly series, the Knicks were ranked number 2. Philly was number 7.
Yeah.
So again, it's not overachieving. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's just what your question was. When did Thibs overachieve with this Knicks team? The only one I can think of really is the Celtics series, where I never picked them to win. I just wanted them to be competitive and win 2 games. So that was Thibs' shining moment.
So in other words, that was his only one. That was his only
one. But if you're looking at overachieving, beating a team that's significantly better, because I think if memory serves me correctly, Cleveland was a higher seed than the Knicks, but it was like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
it was 4 or 5.
5.
And mad people picked the Knicks to win that series, man. A lot of people. So I'll give Thibs Boston and then Cleveland. But, most of the losses, all of the losses were underachieved. We lost to seeds higher than us, lower than us. I'm sorry. We lost to lower seeds. And we usually lost the first game, and we were always trying to come back, fighting, clawing back instead of leading ahead like a champion does.
Like the Detroit series just recently.
Yeah, man. I'm like, why are we going life and death with the Pistons, man? Like this team that team has one player. They didn't even have Jaden Ivey, man.
Yeah.
They had one player, man, in Cunningham. These guys was turning Dennis Schroeder and Tobias Harris, who was a parasite the series before when he played. Yo, they didn't even play him when we played Philly the year before. Remember that?
Yeah.
They were running from him after a while. He was horrible in that series. The Knicks turned this guy into like a great player, man. So I don't know. Go ahead, Ed.
So
What do you think? What was your Tibbs' overachieving moments? And elaborate on it. With the
it's
Knicks.
it's only the Boston series.
Yeah.
And the Cleveland, and also when I said earlier to Philly, I have to think about it because as much as we were ranked number 2,
Yeah, we were 2. They were 7.
so we underachieved.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we underachieved, and that's why Embiid said what he said. He's not giving no Knicks respect because everybody doesn't. They all know where the ball is going. The ball is stuck. Everybody's around the perimeter trying to figure out what's going on. The ball's in one person's hand.
I think that team had the extra ball handler that they had was DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo actually that year, and it goes again to what I think the Knicks are going to need this offseason. I told y'all before, I want Tyrus Jones bad. The Knicks need another ball handler who can get Brunson off ball. DiVincenzo would handle the rock coming up and set guys up. DiVincenzo was a great guard at spotting the cutters, spotting the backdoor cuts, the lobs. That's what made DiVincenzo so important and paramount to that team. Aside from the fact he was a great outside shooter and a clutch guy, he was very good passer, and he can handle the ball adequately.
Ian, you see what you just said?
Yeah.
Now let's go back a year. That series, the semifinals against Pacers.
Yes.
DiVincenzo was hot in 2 of those games in the series. The game that we should have won. Why he gives it to Brunson? Why didn't he set up Brunson as a decoy for DiVincenzo?
Well, Thibs is gonna do what.
Because you see what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, he's not gonna play the hot hand. Thibs is gonna go with what he always goes with, man. He doesn't adjust. He doesn't read the game. He doesn't read and react. He want players to read and react. He don't read and react to the game. He just goes with what is his formula. But he asks players to do that, which is the disconnect, man. If I'm a player, I'm like, dude, why you asking me to see what's out there and react to it? But when you're drawing up a play for and defense, it's the same person. I mean, I don't know.
Did you ever watch that podcast with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, the roommates? And
I watched roommates.
Dolan was on it.
When Dolan was on it, yeah.
Yeah, you seen it?
Yeah. I liked it.
When Thibs called and Dolan said, "What are you bothering him for? I'm on the line. Hang up right now."
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
So that told me everything. Think about it. He's your head coach.
Yeah.
He's calling Brunson.
Yeah.
While he having a thing, maybe he had an idea to tell Brunson, and he could have shared it if he wanted to. He quickly cowered when Dolan was on the line.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to cower from any man. Just say, "Yo, this is what I got. I got some good ideas we need to work on." If he wanted to look good, he could have did that, but he did.
Yeah.
You got to seize the opportunity every minute you give it.
Tomorrow's not promised. That's scripture.
That's right.
Bible scripture. I tell y'all that all the time, man. That's a great scripture to live by, man. And it applies to basketball. How many of these finalists for the NBA Finals have we watched? And like Biggie said, one shot, they're disappearing. You don't see them again, man. Not for years, man. We can't, and this is 3 straight shots at us getting to the finals, bro, where we had a realistic path to it. And this one hurt even more because we were in the ECF. We should have been in the ECF the last 2 years prior to this, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
But They either need to get your boy Tyus Jones or my guy DeJounte Murray. That's who I really want. If they
Let's
could
talk
get
more.
him,
I want you to elaborate on it because we were talking about this today too. DeJounte Murray. Elaborate on it now.
the reason why I want him because you see what he did when he was playing alongside Trae Young for that good half season. Was it a half season or
a season? Yeah, yeah. They played a full. They played full season, bro. Yeah.
So okay. He was good when he was playing with Trae Young, and then most of the times they will have Trae on the bench and he's still on the floor. DeJounte Murray's young. He's a triple-double machine. He came up from San Antonio. He came from San Antonio, and he always wanted to play for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Jamal Crawford was trying to tell him, get your game up so you could go to the Knicks and get that money. And he was doing that. The only thing that was in his way was Clutch Sports at that time.
Okay.
So that's why we really... you remember when they said last year that Leon Rose finally had that meeting with LeBron's boy from Clutch?
Yeah. It was an embargo between both of their...
They finally squashed it.
Yeah.
Even... So,
but CBA, was it CAA and Clutch had the war between those two management companies,
So,
which Leon Rose was the former president.
I really thought that he was going to get him because he checked. DeJounte Murray checks all boxes for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: the Knicks wanted to trade for DeJounte Murray. That when the Hawks ended up going with the Pelicans package that they offered to get him, but the Knicks have been trying to trade for DeJounte Murray and been interested in him for years, man, years and years, dude. I think it would be a good fit for them because you can get Brunson off ball, and the biggest key. DeJounte Murray, very good defensive player. Usually top 5 or 6 in steals in the league every year, man. Great passer.
Look at his wingspan. He got a good wingspan.
Exactly, man. Big guard, 6'5".
He can handle that rock.
He even shot the 3 better, and he used to struggle from shooting the 3 when he was with San Antonio. So, I listen. I've always liked DeJounte Murray. I think it'd be a great move. It's a bigger move. Tyus Jones, you could just sign him. You can create some space and sign him as a free agent. I think DeJounte Murray, it's what are you going to give up to the Pelicans to get him? And I want you to elaborate on Murray.
So you basically saying who we would give up or who we let go in the roster?
Yeah.
I would let go. Okay, this is just me. Like I said, I was looking at the roster. Cameron Payne, I like your energy. Sorry, you got to go.
Man, they don't know damn Cameron Payne, man.
Payne, you gotta go.
Payne is
gone. Payne is gone. Who else? Because I wrote my notes. Hold on.
Insane Martin Payne. Insane Cameron Payne. My man was tripping, stumbling,
he is
bumbling,
gone.
like Clyde would say.
Like you said, I'm make sure Kohler gets some quality minutes for the incoming season.
But you gotta say who you would. You gotta say. Remember, you gotta tell us who you would give up for. To get DeJounte. You gotta get him in a trade. He's under contract by the Pelicans, man. So who would you give up?
As much as I don't want to, I'm gonna have to give up McBride and Hart in the package for him.
Dude, it's gonna take more than that. Those are bench guys, man. Like, all right, Josh, what do you think about Murray, and what do you think about what the Knicks should give up to get him? But I want y'all to give me packages that realistically, if you're the Pelican GM, you can go with that.
The reason why I'm going with McBride and Hart because I'm tired of the Knicks always getting the ball in the stick. We have to give up our best players and other teams giving shitty players. That's why. And that's a deal they could take because McBride been good. He just you know what I'm saying? He could wind up starting for them.
He could start for them. DeJounte is a starter and has been a starter for the last 5 years in the NBA. I mean, that again, this is what I'm just saying. as Knicks fans, when we do trades, it's harder to do the trades because it has to equal out. When we did the Cat
Right.
trade, I initially thought it was Julius for Cat straight up, which I thought would have been fair. The Knicks ended up having to throw in
Yeah,
DiVincenzo.
Round pick.
And if we
And a
had
first round pick.
Dante, I think we would have won that series because Thibs would have been forced to play Dante. He's not gonna be quiet and sit on that bench. He's gonna hear him. I don't like that. He had that fire in him. I like that.
So you
So
said,
trades
all right.
for Knicks, we usually
Okay.
don't get steals like that, man. It's usually
So-
we're gonna give up some people, man. And
So if I have to give up somebody,
you got to
this
get
is
somebody
the
up,
thing,
not
like
not
I
a
said.
bench guy. Or I love Josh Hart, but in no way, shape, or form is he
But he was
equivalent to
starting, right?
DeJounte.
Josh Hart was technically Josh.
Yeah, but
Josh
he's
Hart
not
was technically
DeJounte
starting.
Murray, dude.
I know,
Nah,
but
man.
I'm putting him in that package. I'm throwing in as much
What else
as
you
I
got?
don't want to.
All right,
throwing
I'm the
McCullough.
Pelican
I'm throwing
GM.
McCullough.
What else you got?
I'm throwing McCullough, and I'm throwing Payne and possibly. Let me see who else, and Marjon Beauchamp.
All right, yo. All right, Josh, you're the Pelican GM. Do you do that deal?
Who was it? Josh,
Yeah,
Payne,
yeah.
who else?
McCullum.
And both
McCollum.
Remember a guy from the summer league?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And who's the other guy? Who's the other guy, Ed?
Beauchamp
Bochan.
from Milwaukee.
Ain't no picks in that?
Yeah, they're gonna have to be like a first round.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give cash. I'm not trying to do all that.
Yo, man, you trying to break the Pelicans, man. They go through enough
That's
as it
right,
is with
because-
Zion, man. You
No,
trying to break them
no,
down.
No. If you think of,
Yeah, I
if you think
thought
about it.
I was like, yo, I thought Picks was coming with this one, man.
Yeah, if you think about it, all of the teams was giving us dirty. They was doing us dirty in time for us to give it dirty back to them. That's why
I mean, what hurt us in the past with trades was that we would give up picks. That's what hurt us, man.
That's what I'm saying.
killed us.
That's why I'm not giving up.
That's what hurt
That's
us.
why I'll give up $500,000 cash.
Yeah, under Leon, with their trades, the trades look bad now because they were mostly done because Thibs wouldn't play the young guys and they got tired of it and it was like, yo, tell their agent to let them know I want to get out of here, man. And then the Knicks obligated them because they're classy. Like Leon, I like what he did with Obi. Not only getting him a place where he could get a fresh start, but also bringing his brother onto the team. I like this management, man. But
So since you said that,
those were the trades we had to deal with. We had to get picks for those guys.
right. So since you said that, and I didn't forget what you was just asking Josh. I'm not telling y'all to forget this whole conversation. Just hold that for a second.
All right.
But I want y'all both to answer this. Which upcoming coach that's in that lineup that's on our hit list to coach the Knicks, which one you think gives us the best chance of playing all of our players and having a couple of offensive sets to utilize Towns, to utilize Bridges and OG and the bench players? Which coach?
Which coach? Ugh. I mean, from everything that I've heard and what I've seen, Mike Malone has very good off. The problem is rookies. He doesn't play a lot. So, but I think you can talk to him. And the Knicks are going to have huge picks in the draft. This draft coming up anyway. You know what I'm saying? So the guys they have now won't be rookies that are going to be the main rotation. I would have to say probably it's kind of a tie for me. Honestly, I think Mike Malone has shown he can be very, very good offensively as a coach. The Nuggets used to score in high numbers, and he did it through the center and through the point guard, which we have now. So I think Malone, but I also think Jason Kidd, you're talking about one of the great IQs of the game, one of the great point guards in the history of the game, a real point guard who knows how to make everyone better around him, who's worked with Brunson before, knows Jalen, and I think that he could create there's nothing he can't do offensively. And he was a great defensive player as well. As a point guard, Jason Kidd, man, great defensive. Normally made the All NBA defensive team. So I'm saying all this to say this: offensively, I think both. I think both can be great. Now, what's the easiest get is Malone. Obviously, Malone. You can sign Malone, done deal. Let's rock out. But these are our terms, Malone. Do not be tibbing like how Thibs tibbed, all right? We love Thibs, but it's time for a change. We do not want that type of vibe with this team. We're right there. We just need everybody to be played. We need fresh offensive sets, get everyone involved. We want threats everywhere. We do not want just one threat in Brunson, where everybody else has to kind of figure it out here and there. All right, so I think it's a tie for me, Ed. What about you, Josh? That same question. Who do you think of the coaches that are out here now would give the Knicks the best chance offensively to do well?
Like out here, like
That's
available or,
yeah,
or under?
both. That's being suggested out there as options.
Well, I heard you mention Ime.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean,
I didn't even mention him, but you go ahead, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Earlier, but you said there's very little possibility that the Rockets will give him up.
Yeah, I think Ime defensively is a brilliant coach.
Yeah.
Defensively.
So I would say, if that's a possibility, I'll say probably Ime.
Right.
I'll say Mike Malone. Mike Malone. I think he's a surefire pick to go with. And then, I'll probably say Kid. I'll probably say, if it excluding Ime, I'll probably say Mike Malone and Kid as well.
Yeah.
Just for their experience.
Yes.
Their experience inside the playoffs.
Yes. Both been to the finals.
Both been to the finals.
Yes.
Yeah, Kid coached. Kid actually had a great, even like having like Luka, who is a defensive liability. Even that run they had.
That was a great
playoff run.
Nobody, and they overachieved. He overachieved them. That Mavericks team was not picked to go as. They were not supposed to beat Minnesota. They were not supposed to beat any of most of those teams that they faced, man. Like they were phenomenal. I think they beat Phoenix too, right? Minnesota beat Phoenix that year. But the Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks overachieved that year when they made it to the NBA Finals. Nobody picked them to go there. No one. No one, man.
Yeah, they play Minnesota, OKC, and
Denver. Minnesota had all the tough routes. If you think about it,
Minnesota
because they killed Phoenix.
Yes, they did. That was the first kill.
Yeah.
And then they killed.
And the second was
Denver. They beat Denver. But I'm trying to think of Dallas. Who Dallas beat that year? They'd have to look that up real quick, man.
That was last year, right?
Dallas beat OKC. Yes, Joshua. They weren't supposed to beat OKC. They beat OKC. Yep. That was another big, huge. Jason Kidd did that. And what was the next team that they overachieved on?
It was Clippers, OKC.
Yes.
Minnesota.
Everybody better than them.
Clippers.
Everybody
could beat the Clippers. So why don't Ty Lue run out of the Clippers? I don't get it.
Injuries, dude. Ty Lue's been snake bit. I think this year was the year they were supposed to win it because that was a very good team. But James Harden, man, he has to shake that horrible stigma of him, reputation that he's not clutch, that he flops in the playoffs. He got to shake that because he's had great playoff games, but unfairly, unjust, or whatever, he didn't do any favors with that game 7. He was terrible. Oh my God, dude, I couldn't believe it when I looked at when I saw the scores. I'm like, that's that. I was like, how do you put up like 7 points in a must-win game? How do you have like mediocre assists? Like a game 7, you can't do that, man. Can't do
Well,
it.
you have regular season players, and you have postseason. He's not a he's only a a regular season player. He's not a postseason.
Best chance they had was when they faced the Golden State Warriors during the Golden State's last playoff run.
Yep.
That Houston team was a good team.
2018, yeah.
And he was good in that series. He wasn't great, but he was good in that series, man.
Yeah,
but listen, I'm a James Harden fan. James Harden is one of those players that when he comes on your team, especially prime James Harden, and even this year with the Clippers, he turns that team around, man.
Yeah.
Clippers were without Paul George and with Kawhi, Kawhi hurt and not able to return till like later on in the season. Harden carried that team on his back like a book bag, man. Carried them all year. He was the MVP for that team, and one of the top 10 players in the game this year. So I think he did great. He just didn't show up at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
So I would never. I don't believe that stigma with James Harden. I don't want to label him with that. Listen, when he got to Houston, they were garbage and they got better.
Still in his mind.
He said Kobe?
He got the ghost of Kobe because Kobe said he would never win a championship.
Ooh, he said James Harden would never win a championship. Ooh,
Yep.
That's rough, man.
Him and Trace McGrady sat down with what's that lady?
Oh, I remember when they were talking.
Rachel
Yeah.
Nichols.
I didn't hear that part, but I saw the interview. I loved it.
He said, he would never win a championship.
Probably he doesn't play defense, man. It's isolation.
Yeah, it's ISO ball.
ISO ball is a hard. For you to win, you can do it, but it can't be 90% of your offense, man. You need to be more imaginative.
Who's the next iteration of James Harden right now?
It's supposed to be. Well, a lot of people compare Luka to him.
Very good.
No.
Yeah. Go ahead. Who do you?
He's on our team.
I was thinking Brunson, but Brunson is not as prolific a passer as James Harden is. James Harden leads the league in assists at time. Brunson ain't never been close to that. I think he can get there, but he needs the right coach. Maybe J Kidd that could push him to get there, show him the importance in getting to that feat. You know what I'm saying? James Harden. James Harden, excellent ball distributor. He just needs to do it more and trust his guy. And I think, listen, he had a great year, bro. He
made like second team.
Yeah, he just did not shoot in that game 7. He had very little shot attempts. He was not aggressive. He just disappeared. I don't know what happened with him. I can't. But Brunson got double-digit assists in the Pacer game and then went back to 4 assists again for the series, man.
Yeah, I think Brunson just struggles with like. I just think he needs to get better with his lob passes.
Right.
With his lobs, like finding Mitch on the
Mitch
lob.
Rob, yeah. That's because he forgets about Mitch Rob.
Yeah.
And it's in the easy too, bro. Easy too.
He forgets about Mitch Rob, and he went away from doing what him and Cat did because that got them through the first 10 games of the regular season.
Yeah, man. Yeah. When you got the best big man shooter in the history of the game, how you don't run a pick and pop or pick and roll consistently, like if you have 5 possessions, you should be doing it 3 of the 5 possessions down the court. How you don't do that, it makes no sense to me. That's fireable right there, man.
Yeah, there's one last thing I want to say too.
Go ahead, bro. We're going to close it out. Go ahead.
Cat got Patrick Ewing should have Patrick Ewing in his speed dial, right?
Yeah.
He should be accessible to talk to, right?
Yep.
Even though I do not blame Cat this season for his defensive woes, because I'm defending Cat because I feel that Cat who bumped into Cat's knee? It was Naismith, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they banged knees.
Ever since that he was lagging and not running. I think that fucked him up. So let's see if he's not really hurt and if he needs surgery or whatever. But I'm telling Cat, I'm like, if I'm Leon Rose, I'm like, yo, I want you to talk to Patrick.
Agree.
Let Patrick show you some stuff like that.
Yeah. Or go to the enemy. Pay Elijah. Elijah still got his basketball camp. He teach low post moves. He taught LeBron.
That too, yeah.
Taught Dwight Howard. He taught a bunch of guys, man. He taught Stoudemire when Amari Stoudemire was doing that to kind of build his game up. Send Cat there. Pay for it. Say it's on us, Cat. Go down there. We want you to be a dominant low post guy. Come back in shape. You know, strong up top.
Yeah, get into the gym. That's what you need to do. Get into the gym, and that's what you need to do.
Yeah, because
if you do that,
people forget. I think people will be forgetting how good Karl Anthony Towns has been in this league, man. You're talking about a guy. His first year with us, he averaged 24 points, 12 rebounds. He was one of the top rebounders in the game this year. Karl Anthony Towns, his first year with us. And that was with an archaic coach with archaic. Well, I don't want to be killed. That was a coach with archaic offensive sets. If you can get somebody in here that is a little bit more imaginative offensively and uses
like
everybody,
Mike Malone.
Man.
Mike Malone, what he did with Jokic.
Yeah.
So
this guy, and then Cat can pass.
Yeah,
he doesn't pass as good as Jokic, but he can pass, right?
Yeah. I don't know where that went throughout the course over the season. Why they stopped that mid-post passing he was doing off the cuts and stuff.
I'll tell you why that stopped,
Josh. Exactly.
Josh, I'll tell you why that stopped. Because low-key, Brunson was on a high horse and he was feeling himself. And if you look at all the post-press conferences, Brunson will never look at Cat. He will look at Josh, and possibly he will look at Bridges.
Yeah.
He will talk to Anunoby, but he wouldn't talk to Cat. Pay attention to that.
You think there's something to that? The rumbling that they don't get along?
I think it's so because in that game where Cat saved the Knicks against the Pacers, Brunson felt that it should have been him.
Wow.
I think Brunson got it in his head. Brunson got in his head that damn hero ball too much. That's why if we could get a DeJounte Murray or a Tyus Jones, he needs to balance himself out. And with that right coach, he'll be better. But from now on, he's on a high horse right now.
Yeah, I do think that
he's ego tripping.
Yeah, when he got benched during that time. I remember he said the post game he was saying that it was hard looking on from the bench and stuff. So I do feel like he got into his head a bit about it, about just the way he was playing and turnovers and just like where they were at inside the series, being down 2-0 already, or was it like 3-1 at that point? So yeah.
Well, this was a very good episode. We started off with Thibs. We got into what were the good, the bad, the ugly with Thibs. Coaching candidates, what we think of them. We brought up DeJounte Murray as a possibility, Tyus Jones, and we didn't even get into the centers, man. Like Kevin Looney, Al Horford, a lot of bigs that we can get as well, but this was good.
I would say we don't need them because we got Precious, Cordy, and we got Mitch Robb.
We don't know if we have Precious. You may have to sign somebody to replace Precious.
So for now, let's see what happens on a day-to-day basis. Especially, we don't know everything about July 4th.
Yep. Before that draft, any big moves are gonna come before the draft. So these guys know if picks are involved, which they most likely will be with the Knicks, the second round pick, and that Washington pick, we finally get up from under that. What moves will be made by then. But this was a great show, fellas. Great show, man. Ed even put out there some good reasoning behind a lot of the whispers that were out there that Jalen and Towns don't get along. Although I'll say this, pictures came out posted all over the net of these guys kind of partying after the series was over. And you seen PJ in the pictures. You seen Jalen, Josh, Karl Anthony Towns. You know who I didn't see at that party? OG.
You didn't see OG?
Nah,
I thought I
nah.
saw him.
OG was in there with those pictures?
Yeah, I think I saw him. Yeah.
Oh man, so I mean, maybe that's just media. Who knows? Maybe they're good. Maybe what Ed said, there's a lot to that too. Maybe we just don't know, man. But this is why we're here, Fan Pros, to talk about it, make you guys think, bring up points that these other shows may not be hitting, and just talk about our beloved Knicks, man. All right. So for me, Elo, Joshua, and Ed.
Last statement I have.
Go ahead, bro.
Who's Royal Ivy? He used to play in the league.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He's a player and then a coach. Very good coach.
They say he's also in the runnings too.
Oh my God, no. Listen, I don't want Royal Ivy. That was way back when we were trying to get Kevin Durant, but the Knicks were saying we're gonna hire Royal Ivy because he's close to Kevin Durant. No, I don't want him. I do not want Luke Walton. Somebody, ESPN guy or whoever, put that out there. I thought that was the most ridiculous one of them all. Nobody want Luke Walton, all right? So just stop it. At least of all the Knicks. The Knicks would tear down MSG if they ever even interviewed this guy, let alone hire him. So no Royal Ivy, no Luke Walton. I don't want Mike Budenholzer, even though he has won a title. I don't like how he treated those players. He was terrible. He treated Nurkic bad, man, who was the center that gave him double-double the year before. Nurkic struggled with injuries, and he benched the guy and refused to play him again. That's Thibs-like behavior. And it rubbed a lot of the players the wrong way on that team. I thought his communication was bad with that new team. So, long story short, I don't want any Thibs-like players, and I don't want any young guys or coaches that have not done anything in the league, man, of any seriousness. Luke Walton, absolutely not. Ivy, no.
Okay.
Yep. But on the radar, J Kidd for sure, absolutely. Mike Malone, yes. Johnny Bryant, yeah, to a degree. They gotta kind of win me over with that. I need to be hearing these players come out for Johnny Bryant. So I'm a little on the fence with that because of the inexperience. But those two are the main ones. Adoke in a minute, but Houston is not letting him out of his contract. So, and I think he put out a statement saying he's good in Houston. They want to build what they got. So those are the two guys you're looking at right now. And hey, Ed, the great point guard, high IQ Hall of Famer, against the very good career coach who's already won a title, has ties to New York through his dad, Brendan, who was a former Knicks assistant head coach under the Van Gundy era and a little bit of the, he has, Riley ties from that Riley coaching tree. So, very good defensive-minded guy, but his dad was a very good defensive coach, but so we got it's a lot, man. It's exciting. Before any of the dominoes fall, the Giannis's and all these other players we want. Oh, before I go, I think it's universal. All three. I think it's pretty universal. All three of us want Giannis, correct?
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Ed?
I want if it's not going to gut our team.
Yeah. What if the trade? Yeah. If they ask me for Cat for Giannis straight up, I'm doing that. If they ask me for Cat and throw in OG, I may even think about that and do that. It's Giannis.
I'm not throwing OG out. I'm throwing Bridges before I throw OG out.
Because you're basically replacing OG, man. You're gonna have Mitch. You'll have Giannis. You'll have Mikal Bridges. You'll have Jalen Brunson. I mean, that's a team right there, bro. That's a team right there. So I mean, well, that's to be talked about. You're gonna have to give up to get a player of Giannis' magnitude. Two-time MVP, you're going to have to give up players. But he is a champion and a difference maker. So, and a finals MVP. He had one of the best final games I've ever seen a player have. When they closed out the Suns, he was a 50-point closeout game, man.
On a
All
bad
dominated.
On a bad knee.
On a bad knee. That's the type. That's the caliber of player we're talking about. So, what I would have to, I'd give it up, and then I would try to build around that team. So I think we're kind of unified on that. What about KD? In closing, I'll start with you, Josh. Would you go after KD, and what would you give up for him?
If it's a player for player deal, then I would still have to say nah. Like KD at this point in his career, and all the injuries he's been through, he's been sort of healthy this last year. I just don't think KD is just. I don't think the fit is good enough for the team to be competitive. Like, I don't think if you can't do it with Devin Booker, then I don't think like if we're giving up like Cat or like if we're giving up Cat and like someone else for KD, like I don't think he's gonna be able to do it with just Brunson and Mikal by his side to bring it all the way to like the finals. I don't think it'll be enough. I think like these teams have KD is still an elite scorer. He's still like we're in top 5 scorers of the league still. But I feel like these teams, especially with like the last season where how that Minnesota team was just able to dominate them like that, like I feel like these teams have been able to find ways to really stop and limit KD, and I feel like if you can't do it with Devin Booker, who's like top 2 shooting guard inside the league, and with Bradley Beal as a third option, like I just think it's gonna be hard for him to get it done with Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges. But that's my opinion on it.
Okay. Ed, what about you? Do you think they should go after KD? And what would you give up for him if you do?
Yeah, I think so. Number one, depending on if you're going to get Mike Malone or Jason Kidd as a coach. Yeah, I would. If we miss out on Giannis, I would take KD. Who would I give up for him? I'm being cheap as hell. Mikal Bridges.
I know we remember the DeJounte Murray trade. He was clearing out the summer league. But
I'm giving up Bridges.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't want to part ways with Anunoby no time soon because that's my best defender. And he could score. So I'm to me, OG is untouchable for many reasons.
Okay.
So I'm leaving him, and I want him to be fully healthy. So I will give up Mikal Bridges. I will give up Josh Hart. I will throw in McBride if I have to.
Ooh. Okay.
That's who I'm throwing out because think about it. Him, Brunson, and Cat with either Mike Malone or Jason Kidd coaching. That's freaking dynamic, man. Offensively, that's dynamic, and plus you just plug and play OG and Mitch Robin there.
All right. I mean, sound.
Of course, we have to get Phillies in for the bench, and you gotta get a couple of 3 and D players, and hopefully you could develop your youngins too, because your youngins gotta play, especially Huck Porty, Dadier, McCullough, and Colette. Yeah, you gotta bring them in and still keep DeLon Wright and Shamit. Yeah, that's a possibility. So I would like that. But it all depends on if we don't strike out on Mike Malone or Jason Kidd.
Right.
then if we, it all it's like what you said earlier. It depends on who's the coach, who's going to be the coach of the Knicks first.
Yeah, man.
That's it. If we have Mike Malone or Jason Kidd, and if we strike out on Giannis, KD's your best bet.
All right. I think with KD, and I'll finish it out. Do I want Kevin Durant? It depends on what they're asking for, really.
Also, Phoenix lowered their expectations.
That's what I read.
What they want.
Yep, that's what I read. That's where I was going.
They lowered their standards, so they not, because teams is not going to give up the whole bank for him. You know what I'm saying? He's an older player first and foremost, so they know they can't get it unless they was going to put KD, Booker, and Beal out on one package.
No.
We all know Booker's untouchable, but that's, just for speaking for I can't get the word out of my mouth. You know what I'm trying to say. Then they could ask for 12, 15 million draft picks for those three alone. Yes. But if it's just Kevin Durant, they're not going to get that much because they know he fizzled out with the Nets and against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And ever since then, they know Anthony Edwards killed them last season. So, and they didn't make the playoffs. So they taking that as diminishing returns until his name is polished up again. He's diminished returns right now.
Well, the one thing
I'll take a chance on it.
All right. I mean, and I'll say this and close out with this. He's going to be traded because that organization is trying to start fresh because of what happened this season. So that's a given that he's going to be on the trading block. The Knicks are one of the mentioned teams, and they tried to trade for him at the trading deadline, according to Shams. So what was rejected then might now be something that the Suns might be willing to revisit. I'll say this. I like kind of doing the reverse Uno card trade of giving them Mikal Bridges back to get KD. Remember, Mikal was traded from the Suns to the Nets to get KD. So that part of it would be interesting. I don't know how because OG would have to step in now at the shooting guard spot because you lose Bridges. So your starting lineup would be Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Kevin Durant, Karl Anthony Towns, and then Mitch. That's a great lineup. It's slow. It's not as overly athletic. You know what I'm saying? So that might be an issue. It can work, but it's gonna have weaknesses. So, but I think that would probably be the best trade that you could do. If not, on the flip side, suppose you trade OG Anunoby, and I think it's gonna take more if you trade OG just because of the contract. You're gonna have to add in other players to try to fill out money. So, let's say you do Kevin Durant for OG Anunoby. You probably have to add in maybe a Josh Hart, somebody who makes good enough money to throw in, and then some picks. Maybe that might work. I'd have to look at the numbers, plug them into the different sites where you can look at the monies to make sure they match. But for me, KD, if I can get him for maybe exchange for maybe a Bridges or something like that, that's different. I may entertain it, but am I like going crazy for it or looking for it? No, because I believe this team really and truly have the talent to win this year. I didn't think they needed to add anything.
Yeah.
This present team had what it took to win. This is the same team that destroyed the Celtics in the Garden, albeit without Tatum, that beat them twice in Boston Garden. And the Boston Celtics, by me and many others, were picked to win the title this year. So they're ready now, even without a KD. KD, as much as he's a great offensive player, he's slow. He's slower, man. He's not the defender that he once was. People go around KD, man. Sometimes KD's feet is like standing in molasses because he's older and he has injuries and he gets injured every year. He's gonna be out like 20 games. Maybe with the newer coach, who plays the minutes properly, KD will be preserved for the playoffs. But you're praying he don't get one of those big injuries before the playoffs, man. So would I go after, to end it out, would I go after KD? Yes, but it depends on the price. If it's a straight up KD for Mikal, I may have to think about that, man. Because that type of offensive team, woo, that's an incredible team. Now you're gonna struggle defensively, and you may be like the Phoenix Suns were. Remember, the Phoenix Suns got him there in Beal, and the first year they forgot we need a point guard, and they screwed it up. The second year they picked up Tyrus Jones for that same reason, but then ended up benching him, and then had Devin Booker being point guard, and they were all over them. Mike Budenholzer was all over the map with that team, you know. So my point being, getting KD for Bridges, you're gonna go up scoring. You're gonna get a ruthless, dominant Hall of Fame scorer, one of the best of his generation. But you're gonna lose defensively and at age and athleticism. I mean, that stuff you're gonna feel that. So, a gun to my head, I might pull the trigger, but I'm gonna be worried about it, and I'd have to see the coach. It's gonna come down to the coach really getting these guys to buy into it. But you could put me 50-50 on the KD. On the KD deal. The Giannis, 100%. 100%. And I'm not afraid of what package we'd have to put together. That's a 2-time MVP. The Knicks have never had an MVP player on their team, man. Never. Never. So, I'm good with that. Yeah, I want that. I want all the Giannis. I want all the Giannis chatter, man. Yes. All right, but this is it. This has been a great episode of Fan Pros. Once again, I'm Elo. This is Joshua. This was Ed. And all right, Knicks fans, we'll talk to you soon. And don't worry, guys. We're coming back. We'll be ready for next year. And you know, as far as the NBA Finals.
Yeah, another podcast in office.
Yeah. I've watched here and there. I'm still getting over the Pacer loss, but you know, we'll see. We'll touch on that at a later date. But let's go Knicks.